What's going on, everybody? Exceptional Gabe here, back with another edition of Exceptionally Animated, where we take a look at some of the greatest voice actors and animators in the industry. Today, we've got a good one. We've got the legendary Michael Coleman. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
I usually start these interviews off by asking, what was your first ever voiceover role in the industry?
Oh, that's a great question. I believe it was on an anime called Ranma One Half. That was my first thing, and I did that with another anime called Card Captors. So those were my first introductions. It was a very long time ago.
Are you in Code Captors?
Yeah, and then right out of that, I think we jumped into Dragon Ball Z and a couple other of the earlier anime before I jumped into anything else. But yeah, that's where I got started.
Yes. Who did you voice in Dragon Ball Z?
In Dragon Ball Z, I voice a character named Idasa, who he fights Trunks in the World Tournament. My roommate at the time was Kirby Morrow, the voice actor of Goku. So we were both a couple of film and television actors, and he encouraged me to try doing some voiceover stuff as well. So yeah, that was my introduction to the whole world of anime and voice work.
That's awesome. And Dragon Ball Z, such a great show. You know, who could forget the ever classic "It's over 9,000" line?
It was a good show. It was a good show.
Do you have
It is a good show.
what were some of your favorite memories of working on that show?
Um, some of my favorite memories, I guess, you know what? It was interesting because I don't think any of us really knew how popular it was or was going to be, and it was actually just a really super fun show to work on. So I think, you know, for a lot of us when we did Dragon Ball Z, it was just this really cool story we got to tell, these really super fun characters we got to bring to life, and there were no expectations. It was just a bunch of actors having a crazy amount of fun with some really cool stories.
Mm-hmm. I definitely agree. You had all of the legends. You had Brian Drummond, and of course, Ian James Collette voiced Goku. And you had Michael Dobson, who was actually the last guest I had on my channel. He's awesome as well.
He's lovely. Yeah, yeah.
In fact, you were telling me you recently went to a Comic Con up in British Columbia. And what was the name of the convention you went to?
The one I was just at one in Kelowna Comic Con, and we had Brian Dobson and Saffron Henderson were there as well.
Oh yeah, Saffron. Saffron's wonderful.
Yeah,
Um, anyway, another anime you were in. Weren't you in one of the Hello Kitty animes?
I was in Hello Kitty. Yeah, I play Inunoshin. So yeah, so yeah, I got to be a part of some pretty cool stories.
Yeah. And a fun fact about Hello Kitty, the 1980s Hello Kitty, the one by Deacon Entertainment, that was, I'm sure you know Taylor Strong. That
Yeah.
was her first ever voiceover role. So fun fact right there.
Oh, I didn't know that. I did a convention with Tara a few months ago and just met her for the first time in person, actually. So
Yeah, she's very nice. And another show you were in was you were in the anime Trouble Chocolate.
I was in Truffle Chocolate. I was.
Now we're kind of going into the obscure zone by here.
Yeah, I didn't know anybody knew that. Yeah, that's an old one. That's a goodie. Yeah, that was a
Mhm.
lot of fun too.
And you were also in Inuyasha. Um,
I wasn't even Inuyasha. Yeah, yeah,
and you voiced Ippo, correct?
I did. Yeah.
So were you in only one episode, or was your character in several episodes of the
I
anime?
did a I did a bunch of episodes, and I played a couple different characters. That was my most fun character I played. There was a smattering of other characters I did throughout the series, and it was fun because actually, Richard Ian Cox, who played Inuyasha, actually directed me in his first film that he wrote and directed around that same time. So it was a lot of fun with the Inuyasha team.
Oh, that's so cool. Inuyasha is often regarded as one of the greatest animes of all time.
That yeah, it was yeah, it did very well. It's a great story, a lot of fun.
Yeah, and Sota was voiced by Saffron Henderson, and I believe she got replaced in the later episodes by Rebecca, who's another amazing voice actress.
Yeah, there's lots of talented people in this industry, so.
Hmm. Uh, do you have any, you know, other memories from working on Inuyasha being such a, huge anime like Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah, no, you know what? It was one of the ones I really enjoyed that one. So I get brought into to a lot of the more comedic characters for a lot of these different shows, and Inuyasha was an opportunity to play a really fun, over the top character that was a lot of fun. I feel like at the same time, I believe we did the Inuyasha movie when we recorded those episodes as well around the same time. So it was a big thrust into the world of Inuyasha, but it was really cool to have that opportunity. And it's a really I'd say my favorite memory from any of these things. This is a really kind and loving community, the voice acting group here in Vancouver. So it was really cool to get to work with all my friends on something that was a really good show.
That's awesome. And Inuyasha, that was done by Ocean as well, right?
That is correct. Yeah.
Okay. And you also worked on X-Men Evolution.
I did. Yeah. I played Sunspot, Roberto da Costa. So yeah, so that was a really cool thing.
Yeah, because X-Men is another big franchise. What was some of your favorite moments from working on that show?
Some of my favorite moment. Well, it was interesting. So, again, my roommate at the time when I was doing all these shows was Kirby Morrow, who played Goku, of course, in Dragon Ball Z, and Moroku in Inuyasha, and he also played Cyclops in X-Men. And Kirby and I actually had another roommate at the time named Yuka, and Yuka had just moved down to Los Angeles shortly after we had done X-Men Evolution, and she became one of Stan Lee's personal assistants. Like she worked closely with Stan. So one of the cool perks was that we all got to go hang out with Stan Lee a bunch, and that was a really cool thing.
Wow, the legendary Stanley. That's so cool.
Yeah, yeah.
And another show you worked on was Mega Man NT. Again, Mega Man is another huge franchise.
Yeah, it's a really big franchise. That was a really cool opportunity as well to bring one of those characters to life. That was a lot of fun. Again, they've got some fantastic talent doing all the voices for all the other characters. So it was cool to be in that group.
Mhm. Um, so let me think. I'm trying to save the best for last, which is
Yeah, for sure. I love it. That's so great.
so you were also in oh, now we're going back into the obscure zone with this one, okay? So
Sure.
you were in a couple episodes of the Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen cartoon. Do you remember that show?
I do remember that cartoon. Yes, Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen. Yeah, I came in and did some episodes with those guys. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and that was Deacon Entertainment. They were huge at the time after Full House, and it makes sense they got their own cartoon. I believe it lasted for like 13 or 26 episodes. I can't remember, but
Yeah, it was pretty cool. That was a good thing. It was cool. I was happy for them.
mhm. And you are also this is not an animated project, but it had a lot of Vancouver actors, so I want to bring it up. Weren't you in one of the Airbud movies?
I did. I was in Airbud 7, Airbud Spikes Back.
The fact that there's seven Airbuds movies is crazy.
There are a lot of Airbuds, and there's more. And then they spun off and did the Air Buddies movies, and it's a very popular thing. And yeah, it was cool to be a part of that as well.
Yeah, because I know also in the Airbud series, there was Ellen Kennedy and Chantal Strand in that movie as well.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
And let me think. Well, were there any other, projects you wanted to share before we move on to Hamtaro?
You know what? No, I'll just say this. Like, I I've had an opportunity to work on a lot of really cool projects. When I did Hello Kitty, I did a movie called A Tree of Palm, which had some of the same key creatives as Akira. That was a really cool thing and an honor to be a part of that. I did a lot of other really, like you say, a lot of obscure different anime that were really popular cult following. I did a show called Dragon Drive. I did a Gundam. I was in Gundam Seed Destiny and Infinite Revius and a bunch of these other really cool things. So it's been a really cool journey, and it's been cool to be a part of those shows. And it's interesting with anime because you never really know what's going to be popular and who it's going to resonate with. And it's been exciting to be a part of that.
Definitely. Now it's time for my absolute favorite anime here, and I gotta do the thing. It's Hamtaro time.
All right, then if it's Hamtaro time, then we'll go full Hamtaro.
Oh my god, where do you get that from?
I had this made by a fan who brought it to me at a fan convention, and they actually made this for me, and then they made them for my kids as well. So in the wintertime, we all dress up like Stan from Hamtaro.
Oh my god, that's so cute. So I have right here one of the Hamtaro VHS tapes, and I just want to show you this. On the back has your introduction episode, the search
Oh yeah.
for Sandy's brother.
Yeah. I see. I love it. That looks so great, buddy. I love it.
Do you even still have a VCR?
You know what? I don't. I still have a DVD player, but I do not have a VCR. Mike, do you have a VCR? Are you still able
Yes,
to watch
yes.
that?
This is like the only way to watch this show because finding episodes are very hard for whatever reason. And it's a shame because it's such a good show.
It is a good show. Yeah, and we never finished it. There were more episodes to do. So I'm
It's
sure everybody would come back if they wanted to finish the series. I know all the actors would come back.
Yes, yes. I know everyone would love to do Mohem Taro. Like I had Kiara on here a few months ago,
Oh yeah, she's wonderful. Yeah.
and she said she would love to do a Hamtaro, reboot. And I told her, half the series hasn't been dubbed in English, so they should just dub those final episodes. The animation is complete, might as well just dub those last few episodes and call it a day. And
I
like,
know, right?
the new generation of fans would love to see more Hamtaro.
I agree. I still have lots of cool. I still have like in my personal collection. I've got Hamtaro backpacks, Hamtaro coloring books. I've got little plushies. I've got all the cool things. It was a lot of fun. It was a cool chapter. I'd love to finish it.
Do you have a plush of Stan?
I do. I do. I have a couple Stan plushies.
Because I don't think for whatever reason all of the Ham plushes were released here in America, which is a shame. Um,
Yeah,
because the toy line was done by Hasbro here in America, who, of course, you probably know for doing My Little Pony, which is probably one of the most iconic show using the Vancouver cast.
it is. It is. I never voiced Hamtaro, but a lot of my students are on the show. So I've coached a lot of voice actors as well. So a lot of my students went on to do My Little Pony.
My Little Pony, yeah, yeah. So anyway, in Japan they had plushes of all of the characters, even some of the more obscure ones like Jingo and Snoozer.
Yeah, for sure. No, you know what, that was a really fun, it was a really fun show. And, it was one of those shows that where you didn't just come in and play your part. You had to learn like all the Hamtaro language and all like all of our sort of slang words and stuff. It was a really fun thing to be a part of. We all got to sing on the soundtrack. So those are all our voices on the soundtrack singing, and it's pretty cool.
You had to do the butter.
Yeah, we did. We had all bada 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 bada.
So your sister in that show was voiced by Brittany Wilson. Have you worked with her on any other projects?
Yeah, and I can't remember what it was, but we did work together again. I'm blanking on what the project was, but not enough. So yeah, so I would love to work with Brittany again. That was a lot of fun.
Of course, and with Hamtaro being an anime, obviously, you all were coded separately, which is sad because it would have been cooler to have the cast all in the same room. But I
It
found
would
out,
have That
yeah,
would have been a lot of
doing these
fun. That would have been a lot
interviews,
of fun.
yeah,
Yeah.
that you all do it separately.
Yeah, so with those ones there, we would come in and I'll just go one at a time and go super, super fast. But it was a lot of fun because it was such a dynamic show with such big personalities. And you often got to hear, if you didn't go first, you got to hear what everybody else was doing, which was a lot of fun. So
Mhm. So, what was one of your favorite episodes you did of Hamtaro, if you remember any?
yeah. Um I don't know. You know what? Honestly, like I look at Hamtaro, and again, because we've only really done half of the show, so I'm actually I'm hoping my favorite episode is still in front of us. I'm hoping we haven't recorded it yet. I
Uh,
think that's my answer. Yeah.
I love that answer. Yes, but I'll tell you my favorite episode so far. With Stan in it.
Yeah.
There was an episode where they were doing an earthquake drill, and Stan was like, "I don't have to do this earthquake drill." He had the maracas in his hand, like he always does.
Yeah.
And he stayed behind. And these chickens somehow got into the clubhouse, and they were attacking Stan. They were trying to save him.
I remember it well. Yeah, I remember that well. That was a super fun episode. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So, do you have any other memories to share of working on Hemtal?
Yeah, I'll say, one of the cool things, I got a gift from my girlfriend at the time. She gave me a hamster that looked exactly like Stan. So I used to watch Hamtaro with my hamster, who was conveniently named Stan, and we would watch Hamtaro together.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
should have tried to find another hamster to go along with it and named it
I
Stan.
should I should have. I should have invited Brittany over and we could have done that together. That would have been fun.
Did you give your hamster a little pair of the maracas?
It's funny. He did have little maracas in the cage. Not too big that he'd choke on them, like or not too small. So, but he did have, yeah, his cage looked very Stan Hamtaro friendly.
Okay, okay. And let me ask you this. This is going to be a tough question. You ready? What was your favorite voiceover role you've ever done?
Oh, that is a tough one. You know what? It's honestly, it is probably Stan on Hamtaro. It was, I've had a chance to work on some really, really popular animes. I've worked on a bunch of video games, some really cool titles. Like I feel really grateful for all the things I've got to do. Like it's cool to be a part of the Marvel universe, Hello Kitty, all these things. But I think Stan had the most heart and he was a lot of fun. And Hamtaro was a really cool thing that we all appreciated. If memory serves correct, I think we were all doing Dragon Ball Z at the same time we were doing Hamtaro. So it was really fun to sort of bounce back and forth between two shows that were so totally different. Um, yeah, that was a lot of fun. That's probably my favorite character.
I would definitely agree because Little Hamster's Big Adventures always takes the cake.
It does, and I'm a little actor who likes to have big adventures myself, so that one resonates.
So, when you were at the convention, did you meet any Hamtaro fans?
I do every once in a while. Yeah, it's one of my favorite things is to meet people that know that show. Every once in a while, like I've also done some pretty big live action things. So a lot of people I meet come up and want to talk about Supernatural or Once Upon a Time or Stargate or things like that. But every once in a while, somebody will say, I don't even know any of those shows, but I loved you on Hamtaro or Dragon Drive or Trouble Chocolate, and it's always really cool to meet those people.
That's awesome.
No, this is great. Let me ask you one last question then.
Yeah,
What's your favorite part about Hamtaro?
that's a very good question. My favorite part is just honestly, it's hard to choose because all of the characters are just great. It's such a cute show. It's very relaxing for people on the autism spectrum like myself because it's a very comforting show. Um,
Yeah,
and I just love all the characters. The stories are so sweet and simple, and it's just an amazing show.
that's and you have interviewed a bunch of the cast, right?
Yeah, so far I've done Kiara, I've done Sam Vincent, Tabitha St. Germain, and I've done Nicole Oliver, who was Pepper in the later episodes, and I had, of course, Michael Dobson, and I've also done, uh, well, I've done Kiara Zani, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm getting well, I'm not going to spoil it for everyone, but let's just say I've got someone big coming on here who was in Hamtaro, one of the best characters in Hamtaro. So
How
stay tuned.
Right? How cool is that? And my guess is if, I know a lot of these people personally, I'm sure everybody will do this interview. So I hope you reach out to them all and I hope you get to chat with all the hams because, yeah, this is a cool experience for all of us. And it's cool to get to share it with you, Gabe.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Well, thank you so much for doing this today, Michael. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Be sure to stay in touch.
Sounds good, Gabe. Thanks, buddy.
All right. Bye.
Bye.